Hello everyone, I'm Lucas Resck, and I'm going to present the paper Explainability and Interpretability of Multilingual Large Language Models, a survey, accepted to EMNLP 2025. I'm a PhD student at the Language Technology Lab at the University of Cambridge in the UK, and this work was a collaboration with Professor Isabelle Augenstein at the University of Copenhagen and Professor Korhonen at the Language Technology Lab. The motivation of our work is the following. Multilingual MLLMs demonstrate state-of-the-art capabilities across diverse cross-lingual and multilingual tasks. However, their complex internal mechanisms often lack transparency. And this lack of transparency is a critical issue, especially given the linguistic and cultural diversity of their training data. In this context, someone may ask the questions. What are the unique challenges for multilingual explainability? What is the current literature landscape of multilingual explainability? And what are the most promising future directions in the field? In this context, our contribution is the following. We surveyed the landscape of explainability and interpretability of multilingual LLMs. We analyzed and categorized over 220 papers. And to our knowledge, this is the first comprehensive review of its kind. For each of the reviewed papers, we categorize them according to the explainability methods employed, the multilingual tasks addressed, the languages that they consider, and the resources that they use. This is the structure of our survey. Great. So regarding the explainability methods, the following is the list of explainability methods for multilinguality that we consider in our work. We include methods such as probing, latent space analysis, attention analysis, natural language explanations, etc. And for each of these methods, we discuss how these methods work, how the works employ these methods, their benefits, their drawbacks, their trends, and future directions. And we have a lot of discussion in the paper. For instance, future work may explore new activation analysis to enhance low resource language performance by capitalizing on high resource language patterns. Explanation faithfulness is a critical challenge for feature attribution methods. Causal analysis shifts from correlation to causation with more robust conclusions, and much more discussion. Regarding the explainability of multilingual tasks, the following is the list of multilingual tasks that we consider in our survey. We include tasks such as cross-lingual transfer, linguistic analysis, machine translation, and many more. For each of these tasks, we outline how the works address these tasks and trends and future work. So we have a lot of discussion about these tasks in the actual paper. But for instance, we identified that low resource languages are mostly studied in the context of specific applications, and therefore there's a significant gap in applying explainability to core NLP tasks for these languages, and therefore extending core NLP to low resource contexts warrants further research. There's much more discussion in the actual paper as well. Great, so regarding the languages, the figure that I'm presenting is the global distribution of research on non-English language interpretability, and the languages are mapped to countries according to their official, de facto, regional, minority, or national status. From the literature, we see that high-mid languages are mostly used as case studies and multilingual test datasets for any task that is considered non-English. Lower source languages are underrepresented in the literature, with a focus on simple applications of existing techniques and less impactful venues. Regarding the resources, the table that I'm presenting is a summary of resources used for multilingual explainability and interpretability and how they are adopted, and the works are selected based on recency and representativeness. So for instance, we have evaluation resources of benchmarks, datasets, and human evaluation studies, and explanation techniques of feature attribution, uncertainty, quantification, visualization, and others. And the works are classified on whether they aid interpretation extraction, or evaluate explanations. And as we can see from the table, there's a skew in the literature towards interpretation extraction aid rather than explanations evaluation. Great. So, what are the unique challenges for multilingual explainability? We can list some of them. So, for instance, how models internally process multilingualism is one of the challenges. The dynamics of cross-lingual transfer, the handling of language-specific features, for instance, different scripts, the manifestation of language and culture-specific biases, the scarcity of resources for low-resource and non-natural languages, and interpreting extra-language multilingual features, such as cultural knowledge. Regarding the core findings of our survey, we see a tendency to apply existing explainability methods to multilingual settings, and a significant skew in the literature against low-resource languages. We also map relevant future directions for the field. For instance, the development of multilingual explainability innovations rather than merely adapting existing methods to non-English contexts, bridging the gap between interpreting inner model behavior and explaining final model decisions, interpreting extra language external knowledge such as cultural values, regional variations, and factual knowledge, and shifting the research focus to low research languages from NLP applications to core NLP tasks. To summarize, our contribution is a survey of the landscape of explainability and interpretability of multilingual LLMs. We analyze and categorize over 220 papers. To our knowledge, this is the first comprehensive review of its kind, and the works are categorized according to the explainability methods employed, the multilingual tests addressed, the language that they consider, and the resources that they use. Thank you very much for your attention. If you want to find more information, please consider reading our paper. Thank you.